What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess doing the mostest, Kevon She, and we are here. Y'all, we have crossed the halfway mark from season 3, episode 6, Scar Tissue, 55 minutes long. I hope that I can get out this chair in under an hour. There's so much that happened. I want to tell it all, but I kind of like the little format that I've been doing lately. You know, keep you guessing, keep some gaps open. But I'm like, can I though? Can I? Like, the whole thing, I don't even, like, it's like nothing spectacular happened, and yet the most spectacular things happened all at once. How do they do this to us week after week after week? I've seen this episode 3 times. I'm still stunned. It doesn't help that my brain is the way that it is, and so I experience things. People are always like, I wish I can go back and experience that for the first time. It's always the first time for me because I'm just like, I can't. So yeah, if I don't want this to be longer than the episode itself, let me just jump right in, y'all, because that's what they did. We're skipping all the previous leads because honestly that ain't even important. Let's get into the now of things. Finally, the moment I've been waiting for. I don't know about y'all, but finally the moment I've been waiting for. The argument. Jim has been incessant, and it started when Tabitha left. That man was looking at his kids. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do? Be their goddamn father. But you couldn't even do that, and you was tripping over 3 days. And in 3 days, Ethan almost died twice. You don't know what's going on with Julie. She's sneaking around, smoking weed, all types of shit. She hanging out with Randall. You don't know nothing that's going on with these kids whatsoever. So you still over here trying to baby Tabitha, and she's like, listen, I don't need none of that baby and stuff. Like, just say what it is. Like, say what it is that you feel, da-da-da. Oh, so you want me to pick at you? You want me to say all those things? And you went out, and you were out gallivanting, and you left us, and she was like, are you fucking shitting me? You over here mad and pissed at me over 3 days as if I went on a goddamn picnic? Are you kidding me, my boy? So he's all like, oh, just say it. It was just easier for you to... And she's like, okay, for what? Easier to do what? Easier to do what? Since we here, since you about it. And he's like, that's why it's easy for you to want to get a divorce, because you always want to walk away from things when stuff is going on, and you don't ever want to fight for a family. You don't want to ever fight for a marriage. And she said, and stay. You want to bring up Thomas, the same Thomas in which I grieved by my fucking self, and you threw yourself into your work for a year. You over here talking about I want to walk away because it would be easier for me to go and grieve alone. Baby, I was already the fuck alone while married to your ass. I was at home every day, every night with the 2 living kids while they were going into this room, sitting into the room every night, staring at Thomas's clothes, staring at Thomas's crib while you ran your ass to work because you neglected being a father and a husband and a partner in life. So don't you sit up here in my goddamn face telling me how you mad because I was gone for 3 days when you emotionally and physically and mentally checked out on all of us for a fucking year. Goodbye and good day. And I said, yes, because quiet as it's kept, Jade is the new daddy. I'm rooting for Jade to step in. His character growth and just his personality and everything has been so beautiful to just watch happen. He already came on the scene a jerk, but I liked him. Like, he was annoying, but I liked him. And to see a character that's continuously himself, so where he didn't sacrifice his personality, but you're watching his genius come into play and why he was paid multiple millions of dollars to do the work that he does. We're finally getting to see that side of him that is very serious, and that side of him that is very open to ideas and open to ingenuity. And so in all of this, every chance Jim gets, he second guesses and questions Tabitha, questions everything that's around him, because he wants to keep living in fucking La La Land. Meanwhile, Tab says something and Jim is like, and go on. Okay, I think I can do this. Oh, I think this might mean something. Ethan says something. Okay, he puts it in terms in which Ethan can understand, and he allows Ethan to also help and to be an asset, because at the end of the day, they all need each other. Jade is the main one seeing this, and you doing all this other stuff, talking about she destroying your family, baby. Jade is there every time I look around. Every time I look around, she going to Jade. Ethan with Jade. Julie around Jade. But then we look up, you never know where your damn kids at. Riddle me that. Riddle me that. If Fatima and Ellis can get married, I really need a divorce. Like, I need a divorce. I need a divorce. Season 3, I need you to open it up with some beautiful music and like everybody in like some midsummer outfits, and I need like the divorce party to be happening. Please and thank you so much. Jade is back at his compound, and he had Boyd come over there real fast. So he's like, look, I think all these numbers make sense. I think they mean stuff, like, and if we could just connect it, it's something like a multi-dimensional warp or something like that. I believe that the rift in time, in space continuum right there is in Camden, Maine. So we are in Maine, and I said that. Thank you, Jade. So he's like, we're in Maine, and something in this space and in this time and all of these things that are happening to us are converging in this moment. So we are still suspended in this space, and we need to figure out how to break that up from the inside. So Boyd's like, I thought you said that you had something exciting. Cause like, this is you talking shit that I don't know about. So he's breaking it down in layman's terms, and he's talking about the numbers and the slips of paper and stuff, and he's also talking about the symbol. And so Boyd is like, well, what about the papers on the other tree? And Jade's like, what other tree? And he was like, when me and Sara got blown into whatever, we ended up on another bottle tree, and inside it had, you know, different slips of paper, but everything was written in cursive. One of the ones that I pulled out, it was written 1864, and so he pulled it out, and now we see, and this was something that was brought up on Twitter, they were like, it was different paper and it was written script, and these is numbers, but just because it's written doesn't mean anything. It's the same. So he's like, okay, show me where this other bottle tree is, because I need to go and investigate this. Like, something is up. So we're finally talking. Now, if we can just build a council of the people who know the shit, then we'll get there. But you know what? Baby steps. So Victor finally goes back to Colony House so that he can get the supplies that he needed for his little adventure. And Henry is in his room, and Victor's like, hey, what's up? And Henry's like, you know, shit popped off earlier. I just wanted to wait for you and just get some one-on-one time that's not really, you know, stressful. It's just us. And Victor was like, you know, well, I was just trying to gather some supplies because I have to go to the cave because I need to go retrieve something that can help everybody. And then he stops, and then he looks at Henry, and he's like, well, you can walk with me. And I thought that was so sweet, because for a moment Henry felt rejected and felt as if Victor wasn't trying to create a space for him to kind of exist. And this was like a really beautiful olive branch, and everybody's been saying it, but Scotty McCord, shout out to you, like a grown man playing a child in a grown man's body, that type of acting. And we've seen that over time with even children playing adults in children's body, and there's such a nuance and a technique and sort of a mastery of self in order to display that in such a believable way. And Scotty McCord is just absolutely taking it this second half he's absolutely taking it. Boyd, and all of Boyd's guilt, I think it's misplaced, but whatever, goes to see Randall at the clinic, but Christy ends up hobbling out, and, you know, she tells him like, hey, this wasn't necessarily all in vain. The ambulance was fully stocked and there's an ultrasound machine on there, so we could actually just, you know, look at the baby, get some good news. Let's play make-believe one more time to just get some semblance of normalcy. Now, I want to stop right here because I was telling people at work, like, we are 5 and 6 episodes in, and so much is happening that you forget. And I had to tell them, I said, it's only been 3 nights since Mama Chen's death. She died at night. Kenny and them came back. And then, what else? Has it been 3 nights? Maybe 2. Cause was there another night between her dying and the ambulance coming into town? I don't think so. So they have not slept. They are not eating well. They are not communicating. Like, they are disrupted. So it's been about 3 days and maybe 2 nights, or 4 days and 3 nights. But it's been a very stressful time this entire time. So there's definitely no rest for the Wicked whatsoever. But the best part about the show is, like I said, the Wicked is behind the scenes. We don't see them, but they are ever present in everything that we do. So Boyd is a little bit excited and he has a little bit of spark because, you know, it's his first grandbaby and he only got 1 child. So it's like, okay, life is hell right now, but this might be the bright spot that we all need. Meanwhile, speaking of babies, Fatima's sitting in a room looking real guilty as she finally confesses to Ellis, like, everything that was going on. Now, they don't openly say that she told him that she drank blood from Nikki, but with the dialogue and the things like that, she's like, we can't, because he wants to tell Christy. He's like, we need to tell somebody, like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, I don't want to tell anyone. What are they gonna think of me? Are they gonna exile me? Are they gonna do all these other things? So that alludes to the fact that it's more than just rotten food. Like, you can speak that away, but you can't speak away the fact that you crave blood and just things that are close to death. So she's panicking and she's freaking out, and then Boyd knocks on the door and he is so excited and his voice is so happy, and they let him in the room and Ellis looked at her and he was just like, look, we got something to tell you. Tab walks up to Donna and Donna is collecting some stones to cover where Dale is, I'm trying to get through this without laughing, where Dale has cemented himself in the community for the rest of his days. All puns intended. And Tab just needed somewhere to vent a little bit. And, you know, she tells Donna, like, I feel like I let everybody down. I feel like I let my kids down. And Donna was like, time out. Because fuck the town. Fuck what you think you owe people. Your children just wanted to know that you were alive, and you are. So that is the thing that you need to focus on. Everything else is just noise. And then Tab hugs Donna, and Donna is like thrown off. And she tells her, I'm sorry that you lost your friend. And I love this moment. Donna has experienced so much loss. Like, honestly, Boyd and her, it's not even a competition. They have experienced the most loss and they carry the most weight. And not a single person has consoled them genuinely. Not out of some sense of obligation or some sense to rectify their own feelings, but to simply say, I am sorry that you lost. Not following up with, if there's anything I can do, because there's nothing that you can do. And in this moment, Liz, again, the acting is just phenomenal. I could speak about everybody. The acting is phenomenal. Because even Catalina, like, just taking it, man. People, like, I don't know. I'm saying they take it. Everybody's taking it. The ensemble is phenomenal. But Donna, there's a softness there. And I'm so happy that Tab, being a mother, found a moment to not be so consumed in herself and so consumed in the things that are going on mentally with her, with this town, that she offered her space for Donna to walk into. So we're seeing a lot of just softness and a lot of beautiful moments, and a lot of things that need to be said are being said in this episode. Okay, so one of the funniest things that happens this entire episode is Victor and Henry's adventure into the caves. Henry is scared. He is terrified, like the whole way. Like, do we need to go up in here? And Victor's like, look, I got all my toy soldiers. I got all my things. We're going to leave a path so that we know how to get back. But Jasper's in there and we need to go get it. This is going to complete the puzzle. And Henry's like, maybe we could do this like with more people. Actually, maybe we can go back and maybe we could do this tomorrow. And Victor, having those moments of maturity, stops and he looks at him and he's like, it's okay. Just stay by me. Follow me. Don't make any noise. And he tells him, you don't have to be afraid. I'm with you. For a boy who had no one for 40 years, this was such a profound thing to say to his own father, because the father also didn't have his family either. And so just this moment of like, it's okay, I'm with you, and them having this space even in Henry's fear, but Henry trusting his son. Everybody disregards Victor, but Henry is terrified. He don't know what's going on, but he's seeing enough to bring up that motel sign in last episode. And so you can see him kind of buying into the things a lot faster than a lot of other people. But he also had all of Miranda's stuff on the outside in her ramblings for years before she ever got in there. So it's nice to see that he's not repeating the same mistakes of disbelief that he did, which cost him 40 years of life with his own child. Meanwhile, back at Colony House, Ellis done told, it's not funny, but Ellis done told Boyd everything, and Ellis and Fatima like, so like, this is normal, right? Like, this is normal. And Boyd was like, oh, I just remembered, Kristen has an ultrasound machine. Like, he couldn't even reassure them because what the fuck? You're eating people? Now, honestly, if I was Boyd, I would have been like, so you was talking all that shit, but you were eating humans. Oh, okay. Honestly, I would have just threw it back on her real quick just to be petty. Like, I need Boyd to be petty. He needs to do more. Lean into it. Lean into it, okay? And so Fatima's been crying this whole time. I just want to know this. Like, and by whole time, I mean the whole season. I just want to know that my baby is okay. Like, what if something is wrong? And oh my God. And so Boyd's like, okay, we got an ultrasound machine. Oh my God, no, I don't want to go. No, maybe we can wait till tomorrow. Like, maybe we can just wait until the baby comes. And then, you know, if the baby comes and eats its way out of your fucking uterus, is that what you want to wait for? Think, girl. She's getting on my nerves. Like, it's so crazy how quickly Fatima is becoming a character that I dislike. She wasn't a character that I liked. She was a character that I didn't pay attention to. But now she is a character that I absolutely abhor. Like, bad. So Ellis like, look, let me talk to her about it. And Boyd leaves the room and he like, what the fuck is going on? Because things are out of his control. I don't look at his facial expressions as if things are breaking for him. I just look at it as he's like wondering, like, we need to figure out what they are up to and fast, and he's grasping at straws. And like Donna said a couple of episodes, why won't they just leave us alone? Why won't they just leave us alone? And this is just another thing on Boyd's list to have to deal with. And unfortunately, because it's his son and his daughter-in-law, his own grandchild, it's something that he has to keep secret. And we need to get past these secrets. But now, Fatima, the main one, if it was me, I would have did this and I would have did that. You are the main harbinger of secrets. Mari goes in and checks on Randall, and Randall is up. And in Randall fashion, he was like, the fuck do you want? And honestly, kill him. I'm over it. I'm over it. Do something else with these visions. Write it into something else. I'm over it. I'm over it. Everything Randall got, he deserved, and he should have got more. But the upside of Randall is the special effects person who did his makeup or his scars. Shout out to you. That shit looks good. when he was like moving his mouth and his jaw and it was like squirmy and a little bit of blood was still oozing out when she was changing his gauze, I was like, this is one of the most beautiful things I've seen. The stitch work is phenomenal. It was so good. Mari just dismisses him like she's better than me, but like it is what it is. But honestly, I'm kind of paying attention a little bit. I don't give a shit about her relationship with Christy, but I'm paying a little bit more attention to her because each episode, she's kind of exhibiting energy levels and care levels of somebody who's maybe thinking of ending their lives. Like, I'm gonna just be real. Nothing is affecting her anymore. And it's a different kind of numbness. It's one of acceptance. And I fear that her not talking about what's going on will be the driving force to maybe her ending her life. And Randall kind of fears this too a little bit because he asked her, how are you doing? And she's like talking about the patients and stuff. He's like, I'm not talking about that. You were in that place. Julie was in that place. And yet you're the only one walking around like nothing ever happened, like nothing exists. And I'm worried about you. So we actually get to see Randall show like a little bit of a human side. But again, I don't really care about a redemption arc for him. Don't give a shit. And I know what they're trying to do. I don't care. All of y'all, when y'all see me on Twitter and y'all are like, but Randall's gotten so much better. I'm telling you right now, I don't care about it. I don't care. I purposely don't care. I don't want to see the good in him. I'm never going to see the good in him. You tied Donna to a tree. I'm done. I can't with you. It's unforgivable for me. The rest of y'all and what you do, accept it. Now we can hee and ha and we can LOL and it can be, you know, agree to disagree and I'm gonna still say what I gotta say. You still say what you gotta say, but don't try to push your Randall redemption arc on me because I'm not having it. Okay, just wanted to say that. Well, Randall tells her like, you don't get to just, you know, no, he says it must be easy for you to be up in here behind some curtains, behind a door and do all that other stuff and pretend that none of this shit is happening around us. Meanwhile, I'm ostracized and I'm on a bus with no fucking windows and I get to have this nightmare every night. I don't get to sleep. I don't get to rest. I don't get to pretend that nothing is going on. And while she doesn't open up to him, she says, well, get off the bus. You can come in here with us. I'll talk to Christy about it. But just go get your things. Like, I don't think she'll have an issue. Another pivotal moment of people who have information needing to get together. But more than that, we need to stop sleeping apart. Like, end that shit. We need to stop sleeping apart. So we're seeing more people are coming together. Onesie, twosies, threesies, foursies, threesies, e-foursies. I don't know what languages was happening there. But we're finally getting somewhere in this episode. Like, people are communicating. Puzzles are fitting together. We're getting the corner pieces set up in here. We have a couple of middle pieces, which is what we need to be happening at this juncture. So we're back in the tunnels and my man Henry is having a whole panic attack and Victor is trying his best to keep his daddy hushed. Like, sir, I have lived here for 40 years. Like, you are going to be okay. But what's not going to be okay is if both of us get eaten because you over here panicking. I'm putting my little army man down. We will be okay. And Henry was like, how many more of those men you got left? Because they ended up going to one spot where Victor thought he remembered or probably did remember where it was, but he's like, we have to go deeper into the cave. And Henry is like, boy, is you crazy? Get me the fuck up out of here. But Victor continues and he's like, just follow me, like, papa, everything is gonna be okay. So he ends up going and he finds it's a bunch of items on the table and Jasper is sitting there looking like he's waiting on him. So Victor tells Henry to wait at like the precipice of the little cave opening and he goes up in there and he's picking up Victor. He's trying to be cool, this, that, and the third. And then Henry walks up and Victor's like, bro, didn't I just tell you to wait back there? Like, goddamn, like, who's the parent and who's the child here? When Henry sees a scarf that belongs to Miranda. So he's gasping and freaking out and loudly whispering, this is your mother's, why is it here? And so, Victor hears a noise and he puts his flashlight onto one of the women and she's dressed like a 1950s housewife. She got the pumped up hair with the flipped out hair at the ends. She got the black headband on and like that soft powder blue outfit with a cinched belt waist. And she says, and I think this is very important, she says, I wrote it down. Hold on. I'm skipping ahead in this storyline because I want this part to be done. She says, you know, Victor, if you keep coming down here, one of these days we'll make you stay. And that is so pivotal because it answers the question as to why did everyone die and Victor did not. They don't want Victor to die. They know what Victor has been up to, and they know the things that he knows and what he's trying to remember, and they openly tell us, the audience, that they are controlling his narrative. And Henry's freaking out because there's a monster that was supposed to be guarding all the stuff with his regular monster face starting to wake up, and so they hurry up and hightail it the fuck up out of there. Elgin is in Colony House, so everybody was on Twitter, why is Elgin talking to Julian? What does this make sense with the storyline? And why is he taking pictures and blah, blah, blah? You know, people who, you know, don't think. That's all I'm gonna say because I already got on y'all last week. I'm not gonna do it again. And Elgin is walking around, he's taking pictures of people, and this is the happiest we've ever seen Elgin. My man wasn't getting no sleep, and when he was asleep, he was getting haunted. Like, it was a lot going on. And so he's like, you know what, I'm making a collage, something. It's been too much death and I need something to do. So Fatima is coming down the stairs with Ellis, and he takes a picture of her, and he tells her, look, I'm making a collage, and this, that, and the third. And she's looking all like weary and shit or whatever, because she's stressed, and she ends up leaving. And so Elgin's like, okay, you're not gonna put a damper on my mood. Like, you know what it is, girl. I got me some pictures and we can have some fun. And because he did have fun with Julia, they got to be teenagers for the first time. And when he goes, and it's one of those Polaroid pictures, and when he shakes it and it clears up, the kimono lady is in the picture standing over Fatima's left shoulder, the right to us as viewers. And then she grabs Elgin and she's like, you need to help me. Like, if you help me, I can get y'all back home. And then when he looks back at the picture, she's no longer in the picture with Fatima. So this is like, okay, all those conspiracy theories about like maybe this is dead Fatima, future Fatima, or whatever, I don't know. It might be. Me personally, I still don't think it's her because the hair texture is just completely different. And I think even if they were going to CGI this woman in there, they still would have had like the texture. And Fatima has very distinct, wavy, loose, curly hair. And this woman got bone straight ass hair. Like, it's not tracking for me. But we at least know that maybe their storylines are connected, which means that now Elgin's storyline is directly tied to Fatima. So Jade is under the tree when Dead Tom shows up, much like Father Khatri shows up for Boyd. And honestly, at this point, I think it's their sober minds stepping outside of themselves to help them solve problems. Jade has been drinking this whole time. Okay. Boyd hasn't necessarily been drinking like Jade that much, but he's been consumed with his self-affliction and self-guilt. And so then when Khatri and Tom shows up, it's, to me, I liken it to the conscious mind that they keep trying to suppress because they don't want to give themselves hope. And Tom says a few things to Jade that I wrote down that I want to bring up because I think this is very pivotal to Jade's storyline, to the Jasper situation, to Tabitha's situation as well. And he tells him, nature has a design, and these trees and everything that you're seeing is not of nature. So maybe somebody put it there. Maybe it was somebody like you. Now with that, he's meaning like, you are a brilliant mind, a brilliant engineer, and all you do is drown your thoughts, drown your sorrows in liquor. You need to sober the fuck up and put that brain to work and figure out how all of this connects to one another. And Jade kind of, Jade's disposition with Tom is a little bit different than Boyd. Boyd is like, he doesn't want to hear it, where Jade is like, then tell me, like, then help me. And so he accepts. Jade is, especially going from his rejection in season 1, where he was refusing to accept the things that was around him, Jade is in full acceptance of everything. And so when a dead person comes up, he's like, hey bro, help me out. And he's going to accept the things that this place is giving him, because he knows that it is the key to unlocking whatever the hell is going on here. And now you see a shift that Jade is not trying to get home. Jade is trying to figure out why they are cursed here in the first place. Tab goes back to the house and she sees Ethan going through Mama Chin's things, and they have a moment when Ethan asks her, you know, what is Jade doing over there in the post office? And she was like, you know, we're trying to solve a puzzle. And so at this juncture, she's like, you know what? Fuck all that shit Jim was talking. Baby boy, come on, let me bring you into the fold. So they go over there, and Jade has retrieved the papers from the bottles at the second bottle tree, and he's lining them all up with the papers from the bottle tree that he encountered. So she brings them in there, and she's like, Ethan wants to know and wants to help on how to solve the puzzle. And Jade looks at him and he's like, you like puzzles, buddy? And it was so soft, and it was so sweet, and it was so accepting. And Ethan is smiling and he's eager, because all Ethan wants to do is help. And you don't have to give him an adult task, but give him something that children are very good at. And so I love this moment, because before Jade interacts with Tabitha, he sits with Ethan and he tells him exactly what he's looking for and what task he wants Ethan to do. And he asks him, do you think you're up to that? And Ethan eagerly says yes. So now Ethan is working on just matching all of the numbers with their corresponding words, while Jade tells Tabitha at the second tree, all the numbers in the words are the same. The only difference is one were written in cursive and the other ones are in numbers. And then some of the numbers repeat, whether on the numbered papers or on the written script. But if it says 1864, then it's written 1864, 1392, so on and so forth. And so while he's talking, Tabitha is going through like the drawings and stuff that he's been doing, when she comes across the drawings of those like life-size talismans, the little hell raisers that were in the woods. And she starts to not hear him anymore, like a panic attack is setting in. And she's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's these things that we think are talismans out in the woods. And you see flashbacks of this little girl, had to be like 6 or 7, running in the woods and runs past these little hell raisers. And out loud she goes, 3 stones covered in red in a circle. And so Jade is like, what did you just say? And she's like, when I was a little girl, I used to have this recurring nightmare, and I would come across these things in the wood. And then when I would get to this spot, I would always end up at these stones, these boulders in a circle covered with red. And I would look up and I would scream and I would always wake up. And Jade is like, that's what's out there. How do you know this? And she looks and she says, Miranda, she's freaking out, because she's like, oh my God, Miranda wasn't the only person who saw this place before she got here. I saw it too, only I didn't know that it wasn't a nightmare. I didn't know that it was real. So there's that, y'all. Season 3, episode 6 of From Scar Tissue. Now, there are some other elements in this story that I missed, but I really wanted to get to this part. Like, this was very heavy answers. Very, very heavy on the answers. And a huge thing that we got now is the connection between Miranda and the connection between Tabitha, and why Tabitha is the one who can see these damn kids. Why she is the one who was able to go through the tree safely and get through the lighthouse and get back into Camden, Maine. So we're starting to see this cyclical thing that at least I've been talking about, of them maybe reliving an event, or their lives are parallels of each other. We're starting to see that circles slowly form. Like we used to be like a dot, and now we're finally starting to fill in those gaps and form that circle. And one of the biggest circles is Miranda and Tabitha. What is their relation? And now knowing that both of them foreshadowed this place, her as a child. I don't even know that Victor was born at that point. Or no, I think Victor would have been born, but she wouldn't have been born. Victor is older than her. And so Miranda seeing it as an adult with children, her seeing it as a child, and it's all related to this place. Now one has to wonder, what are the parallels between Jim and Victor? Eloise and Julie. I mean, not Jim and Victor, Jim and Henry. Eloise and Julie. Ethan and Victor. I've been saying one of the monsters was somebody who looked like he was in the Revolutionary War. Boyd was in the military. We have someone who is a sheriff. Boyd was acting sheriff, but now we have an actual police officer here. We have a nurse. We got Marielle, who is a pediatric nurse. And so to me, I'm like, I feel like they're bringing in people who are also like themselves to then slaughter and relive it with this new batch of people all over again. But the best part about this episode is that it was slow enough to really settle in. We didn't get back into the nighttime, whereas episodes 1 through 5, where the monsters had us as viewers like, damn, can we enjoy the day? They did not let us enjoy the day. It was long nights. And now we actually got the day to slow down, and multiple storylines are finally converging. One thing that I did not mention in my recap that I'm going to mention now is going back to Elgin and Fatima and that whole situation. Fatima did get her ultrasound, guys. There's no visible baby sitting in her uterus. Interesting. So there's no baby sitting in her uterus. And this monster is telling Elgin that she needs to help him help her, and that's the key to getting them out, while appearing in a photo with Fatima. So is the monster that's haunting Elgin using this as a rebirth? Is he being tricked in some way, shape, or form? Is Fatima gonna give birth to a monster? Is she gonna give birth to one of the keys to getting out of here? Who knows? Because right now, we don't even know what the fuck is going on. She says she's pregnant. She's exhibiting pregnancy things. And we know that in the past, Boyd had stuff in his arm and nobody was really believing him, and it turned out to be true. So now we're kind of back in this situation where they were trying to lock Boyd up and deem him unfit and take him down as a leader, when the whole time the monsters were controlling the narrative in the first place. So it's not necessarily that the ultrasound is broken per se, so much as I believe that the monsters know how to hide this thing that's inside Fatima. So we have a lot going on, but there's a convergence that is finally happening, and the people are orbiting around each other in a way that's bringing us closer and closer, so that we can finally get the conversation that we deserve, and not that town hall bullshit that we got in the last episode. And I'm not calling it bullshit for the writers, I'm talking about just as characters, they went on some bullshit. And so finally the people that must talk are in the room with one another, and I'm loving it. That's all we can hope for as we go through the last 3 episodes, and I am not looking forward to it because I don't want it to end. But I'm not gonna get myself there just yet. I'm gonna sit in the moment. I'm gonna accept this. I'm gonna accept it so much. Okay, it's received. That is gonna wrap up today's episode. If you like it, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment in the comment box below. If you are someone or know somebody who only wants to listen and not necessarily see my face, you can go ahead and follow me on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. You can also find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, and all of my unhinged thoughts on Twitter at KeyBonShe. I look forward to next week. I look forward to all the episodes and stuff that I continue to watch, and thank y'all so much for rocking with me. We are almost at 100 subscribers. Oh my God. I'm trying not to freak out on the inside, but I'm freaking out a little bit. So if we get to 100 subscribers before the end of then I might have to do something special for my YouTube family specifically. So thank y'all for tuning in, for telling a friend and telling that friend to tell a friend and a family member. I love y'all so much, and I will catch y'all in the next episode.